Ever wonder what you're actually made of? If you zoom way in, it turns out all life on Earth shares just a handful of essential building blocks. So today, we're going to break down the 4 master ingredients that build every living thing, from a tiny blade of grass all the way up to you.
Now, to really understand these building blocks, we have to start with the absolute star of the show, carbon. So what is it that makes this one element so special? Why is it the backbone of, all life as we know it?
The simple answer? Life on Earth is fundamentally carbon-based. I mean, from the smallest little bacterium to the biggest blue whale, carbon is the one element that ties us all together.
Carbon's superpower is all about its ability to connect. See, a single carbon atom can form 4 really strong, stable connections, what we call covalent bonds, with other atoms. This makes it the ultimate biological Lego brick. It can build an incredible variety of structures like long chains, complex branches, and even stable rings.
And when these carbon compounds link up, they form these gigantic molecules called macromolecules. Seriously, these are the heavy lifters of biology, the massive structures that actually build and run an entire organism.
To make this super clear, just picture a freight train. The entire train, that's the macromolecule, which is also called a polymer. And each individual train car, that's a smaller, repeating unit called a monomer. You just link them all together, and boom, you've built something big and really functional.
So, it turns out that all of life's macromolecules fall into 4 main families. You've got carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Each group has a very different set of jobs to do, so let's break them down one by one.
First up, we've got carbohydrates. A good way to think about these is as both the fast-acting power plants for our cells and the sturdy walls that give them structure.
Yeah, carbohydrates are all about that dual function. They act as our body's go-to source for quick energy, which we store as glycogen in our muscles and liver, but they also provide structural support, like the tough cellulose that makes up the cell walls of every single plant.
The building blocks for these guys are simple sugars, or monosaccharides, like glucose. When you link a whole bunch of these together, you get these massive chains called polysaccharides. Glycogen and cellulose, they're both just long, complex chains of glucose.
Okay, next up, lipids. For these, I want you to think of the body's long-term energy vault and its protective insulation.
Lipids are a really diverse group. We're talking fats, oils, and waxes. They're fantastic at storing huge amounts of energy for the long haul. But they also form critical barriers and even act as chemical messengers in the form of steroid hormones like cholesterol.
One of the most important lipids has got to be the phospholipid. Its superpower is being hydrophobic, which is just a fancy way of saying it doesn't mix with water. And this is absolutely crucial because this water-repelling property is what allows phospholipids to form the cell membrane, that essential barrier that protects the inside of every cell from the watery world outside.
All right, moving on to proteins. If our bodies were like a bustling city, proteins would be all the machinery, the messengers, and the workers making everything happen.
So take a look at this number, 15%. What do you think that represents?
Yep, that's the percentage of your total body mass that's made of protein. And that is a huge number. To put that in perspective, it's more than double the weight of your entire skeleton. It just shows you how fundamental proteins are to our actual physical structure. And their job list? It's immense. Proteins transport oxygen, they build our muscles and skin, they speed up all the chemical reactions in our bodies, and they control cell growth. They are the true jacks of all trades of the molecular world.
So the little building blocks, the monomers of proteins, are called amino acids. There are 20 different kinds, and by linking them together in different sequences with peptide bonds, you can create a pretty much infinite variety of proteins, each with its own unique shape and function.
And finally, our 4th group, nucleic acids. Think of these as the cell's central library and its high-speed communication network. They're responsible for all the information that makes you, you.
The 2 most famous nucleic acids you've probably heard of are DNA, which stores the master blueprint of an organism, and RNA, which carries out the instructions from that blueprint. And there's a 3rd type, ATP, that isn't about information. It acts as the direct, usable energy currency for the cell.
The repeating units here, they're called nucleotides. Each one is made of 3 parts, a sugar, a phosphate group, and a nitrogen-containing base. It's the specific sequence of these bases in DNA that contains the actual genetic code for life.
So let's pull it all together and do a real quick recap of these amazing building blocks of life. When you boil it all down, these 4 macromolecules work together like a perfect team. Carbohydrates give us quick energy and structure. Lipids handle the long-term storage and form barriers. Proteins do pretty much all the work. And nucleic acids store and transmit all the information needed to build and operate the entire system.
And that brings us to a final thought. We know carbon is absolutely essential for life here on Earth. But let's say one of our rovers found carbon compounds on a planet like Mars. Would that be definitive proof of life? I mean, it's the right ingredient, for sure. But is it the whole recipe? It's something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.